Good evening, ladies. Welcome to this quick podcast on doing a little bit of editing, and I'm going to only do this on one image, and I'm going to just cover some very simple basics of what we covered the other night, and also to look forward to of what we will be working on more tomorrow night. And so here I'm going to right mouse click on this image right here. I'm going to open in Camera Raw, or I could click on this button right up here, open in Camera Raw, and as you see in this image, I've got a different cropping setup. All right, and so here I've got the crop tool. Let's cover these tools one more time. Here I've got, and obviously when you hover your mouse over this, is going to see what the tools are. But you've got the zoom tool, you've got the pan tool, the hand which basically pans around. If you hold the space bar, you get this tool regardless. So I never hardly use this tool other than holding on to the space bar, or just click and drag around with two fingers. And on most keypads nowadays on a laptop, that works pretty well. This is my white balance tool. Color sampler tool, I never use that. Targeted adjustment, it's kind of neat, but I never use that either. Crop tool. Straighten tool, use that quite a bit. Transform tool, use that a lot. And so we'll get more into that in the advanced last two sessions. Here I've got the spot removal. Use this fervently, so I use this a lot. Red eye removal, not very often, but on occasion I have used this. Adjustment brush, yeah, like all the time. Same thing, graduated filter and radial filter. I use this one more than I use this one, but I use this a lot. These three do a lot of the same things, just in different ways. These two cover broader areas, or specific areas, to where this gets very, very specific and can do some incredible things with just that. So never use that. On occasion I have used these, just know that you can rotate around, and so let's take a look at this. So let's take a look at my crop. I wanted to get this at a 4x5 with my daughter on here. Now as I zoom in on this image, if I was to take a look at none of the effects that I've done on this, if I hover my mouse over here, you can see that I've painted in this area. And what I've painted in that area, oops, is I've turned down the highlights and the whites. And that's the only thing I did. And oops, let's fix that. I didn't do anything else to that part. Now if I turn that off, you can see how much brighter it is, and I don't want it that super bright. I could probably, let's select it. Whatever's selected is affected. I'm going to drag this over. Maybe 27, there we go. Okay, so and let's go back to the zoom tool. When I go to the zoom tool, I get my major tools all set up in here. And so with the basic tools, I don't do a lot other than just these sometimes. I have some presets, and I'll get into presets towards the end of tomorrow night on how to create those. The big thing is how do you figure out what you want to do? Well, the first thing I look at is I do look at the white balance. I look at the color temperature. Do her skin tones look natural? And in this image, yeah, they look very natural. And so I don't need to go any further than that. I'm pretty satisfied with how the skin tones look. I could warm it up a little bit more. And so what I could do is I can drag this over, and if you make it about 6,500 instead of 6,100, if I was to look at the difference on that, I just toggle this down here. Oh, that turns everything. Let's do Command Z. Oh, okay, let's do this. Go back to what it was, and then we'll do Command Z. So you just kind of richen up the picture. And I guess I can leave it at 6,500. I'm cool with that. So I've warmed up that image. Tint, do I need any tint? Probably not really. It is what it is. It's at +3 right now. It was probably like an auto. Or I might have used my eyedropper tool to click on the eye right here. Well, look at that. It gives me a warmer temperature yet. I think I liked where it was at. I'm not going to go any warmer. Go to +3 is fine. Click on the Z key on the keyboard, or just click on here. If you click on Z, you get the zoom tool back, and I just click and drag up and to the left. And I get that right there. Now, I probably hit auto to begin with, or I might have just went and let's take a look at our skin tones. And if I was editing this, it was to get this histogram in this upper third. Now, you're going to see some variance of where things are going, but for the most part, you know, this is where I want it. So let's undo. Alt Option or Alt Control Undo. There we go. So as you drag these sliders around, you're going to figure out, what they do and how they look, and you kind of go off of that. The better the monitor that you have, the better results you're going to get. So I normally don't crank up the contrast this high, but in this case I did. And it's kind of like to taste. It's what you season to taste. The blacks, let's adjust that. Vibrance, I probably did more vibrance and saturation than I normally do. I normally do 13 and 13. That's all I ever go higher than. If I was to take a look at this next, now this one, the tone curve, not even going to get into that. I mean, we will later, but sharpening, by standard, it's 25. 25 and 25. One of the things I will show you guys how to do is if you go into Apply Preset and do Standard Sharpening, this is one that I did. I created this. So when I click on that, it automatically sets everything to where I want it for sharpening. So all this other stuff, I didn't even do profile, lens corrections. So, I kept it simple on this. I adjusted this and I adjusted this. That's it. That is all I did. In a lot of my photos, I try to keep it simple. Now, I did go a little bit one step further, and I did add an adjustment brush to bring down the brightness of her cute little arm there. And along this side, just because that's where the flash was flashing. The flash is over here on camera left. And so you can naturally just is going to brighten this up more. So, which is good. And I've got some nice shadow and depth in here, so that's good. And if I was to zoom in, come on. There we go. Here, if I look on this side, this is where the umbrella is at and the catch light, so I'm good. I'm happy with that. To export this, I want to make sure that I've got the right settings on here, so I'm going to click on this. Color space, I should change this to sRGB, like that. Resize to fit, no. Resolution, yes, 300. Sharpen 4. Ooh, I need to change that. Matte paper. Make sure that's set. Standard is good. And hit OK. Now, when I go to save this image, where am I going to save it? I can save it in the same location. If I wanted to add some skin smoothing and everything else, I can go that route. But if, let's say I don't, I always try to make sure that my quality is the highest for my JPEGs, so I save them at 12, so it doesn't discard a lot of data. Most printers and labs can handle that nowadays, so I just leave it as that. So I hit save, and it goes right into the same location. So I click on that, I hit done, and you'll see, I don't see it in here, but if I click on my JPEG file, it should be right next to it. Right there. Boom. There you go. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.